What up, Bucs Nation? Welcome back to another video. We had this terrible loss to the Washington football team, but I'm going to preface this video by saying that I only watched about midway through the first quarter, and through the second quarter I was traveling back from my 1-year anniversary trip, so I was unable to catch the whole game. During a layover, I got to watch a little bit of it, so I'm missing a lot of context. I did watch the highlights on YouTube, so I can kind of get an idea of game flow and things like that, but you know, those highlights cut out a lot. So prefacing of that, but you know, we lost 29-19. But before I get into kind of my review, if you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I'm Ramy B, and I post weekly Buccaneer reaction videos. This one's going to be a little different. I'm not going to talk about stats or anything like that, just because of I didn't get to watch the game, so I really don't know the context of it and what's garbage time and what's not. But overall, it seemed like it was a very terrible performance offensively. I feel like the defense it sounded like they were doing all right most of the game until the fourth quarter, especially when they gave up that long. It was like almost an 11-minute drive. I think it was 19 plays by Washington. But I will say the offense was not smooth at all. It was like check down every play. I think Leonard Fournette led the team with the most targets, and I think he had 9 catches overall. But it just seemed very off balance. And I know people are saying online like, hey, you know, when we have Antonio Brown, we need him back. He makes the offense go. But I'm like, last year we didn't have Antonio Brown until like week 9, week 10. And our offense was still able to move the ball and put points on the board. And we haven't had him since Philly. I think Philly was the last game, and we've hung up, I think, on Miami a lot, or maybe the Miami game was before that, but we were able to put points on the board without him too. So I don't know, you know, people are saying like that's the one guy that makes it go. Sure, if we have him, it helps. But I mean, I feel like this game specifically, Washington, I think, came in with the 32nd ranked pass defense, and then they lost Chase Young, and they had a lot of injuries. I feel like they were missing players left and right too, and we weren't able to capitalize on deep passes at all. And I feel like, you know, at some point we're going to have to start forcing the ball to Evans. I feel like last year after the bye, we started feeding Evans more and the offense started going. I feel like the offense still goes through Evans. But for some reason, Brady does not want to throw 50-50 balls. And I'm not going to blame Brady and say, you know, it's his fault. But, you know, he does make a lot of the decisions. And it seemed like today he was very content with a lot of checkdowns that were really going for nothing and not doing anything. And then he finally did catch Mike. It seems like he only throws to Mike when Mike is like wide open. And that touchdown today was like that. He has to, you know, he doesn't trust Mike to win 50-50 balls. But he does throw Godwin a lot of tight balls too. So I don't really know. And I feel like that's going to have to be a point on the offensive to really get Mike the ball. You know, a lot of third and shorts, second and shorts. I don't know why we're doing weird plays, why we're not just kind of running slants to Evans and Godwin. Slants always work for us, but we keep running these weird sweeps to like Godwin and like these weird, you know, all these weird plays. Defensively, it's good to see that the linebackers came back alive. Levante David and Devin White balled out, but of course for nothing. I think Levante David now has passed Derrick Brooks for the most forced fumbles in Buccaneer history with 24 or 25, and I think he's behind Von Miller and I want to say JJ Watt by like 1 or 2 for like league. I don't know if that's all time. I have to check, but great performance there. I see Richard Sherman was hurt before the game even started, so he never really came back. And then D. Delaney, who was solid, you know, average, I'll say, was hurt as well. So we had Pierre Desir there, who's not that good at all. And then we kind of got burned by Heineke, who now has his 2 best career games against us. For some reason, we are the solution to a lot of backups and third stringers and nobodies, you know, rookies. But it's not a good, you know, performance at all. I know in the fourth quarter we gave up an 11-minute drive that pretty much sealed the game, but the team looked like had no energy and they were flat. I think we really need to go. I don't know, we had a bye week and we had 2 weeks to prepare for a not good Washington football team, and we literally squandered it. We had a bye week last week where, you know, 3 of the 4 teams we needed to lose lost, and it was the Saints who lost, the Packers lost, and the Rams lost, and then today Arizona lost. Had we won, we would be tied with all these teams. Oh yeah, and Dallas lost too, so now I think we're back to 4th seed. The Saints lost last week too, and then they lost this week to the Titans, and the Falcons lost. So we're still half game ahead of the Saints. Or no, 1 full game ahead of the Saints. Yeah, I think with the tiebreaker, it's considered a half game. So we still have the division. It's not that close. You know, had we won this week, we would have been 2 games ahead of the Saints. We would have been we would have been tied with the Cardinals, tied with the Packers, tied with the Cowboys again. But now we fell a game behind as well, and it's starting to look like the, you know, home field advantage in the 1st seed is kind of out of reach. Next week we play the Giants. We're missing a lot of defenders. I know Vita Vea's out too, and we don't know how long. I think it was a knee injury. It's not looking good, and the Giants typically play well against us, and Danny Dimes has played us twice, and he's beaten us once and almost beaten us the second time, and seems to have his best games against us. And that's when we were healthy with our starters. So who knows what it's going to look like next Monday night. Tom also hasn't looked like himself. I don't know. Something's weird with the team now. We won 14 of our last 16 prior to today, so now we're 14 of 17. And it's not looking good. You know, we shouldn't lose to Washington. But on the same token, you know, I don't want to use it as an excuse, but it seems like in the last 2 to 3 weeks, a lot of good teams have been beaten by nobodies. Dallas got destroyed by Denver last week. The Ravens this week lost to Miami, who's not that good. The Browns, who are pretty solid and, you know, should be make a deep playoff run, have got blown out by the Patriots. And it seems like a lot of good teams are losing games they shouldn't recently. It's weird. Like the NFC started with like everybody just had one loss. And then all of a sudden now teams have 2 and 3, and it's like, it's not looking good. But that's my review on it. Things need to change. I will say the 3 biggest culprits is missed tackles. I don't know why when players are running, we're trying to hit them up high with the shoulder and not wrap up and tackle. There's a lot of times I saw in at least that quarter and a half where it'd be 3rd and long, they'd get the ball short of the first down marker, and we'd do that stupid shoulder hit, and they would kind of just bounce off it or spin off it and get an extra 1 or 2 yards and get the first down. Secondly, obviously penalties are really stupid as well. There was one drive, I think we had 2 offside penalties or whatever. Neutral zone infraction penalties should not happen at all. We should always look at the ball, stop trying to jump the count. Sure, jumping the count helps, but it also hurts a lot. Look at the ball and then move. And then lastly, turnovers. I know Brady's first one definitely wasn't his fault. It hit Darden and you know, popped out. The second one seemed like it was a bad throw on his end behind Evans. But still, I want to talk about Darden as well, the last thing. Is it me, or does he slip every time he gets the ball? I feel like every punt return, kick return, when he tries to cut, he slips. He did have that play where he was kind of wide open in between the corner and the safety, caught it, and when he did his little jump cut, he slipped again. I don't know what's going on with his cleats, or does he just have weird running form? I don't know, but let me know down below what you think of the game and what's our direction moving forward, because that was a horrible loss. And yeah, nothing really positive to say about that. Hopefully next week is better. We're going to have a little bit of a longer week with the Monday night game, so we'll see. And as always, let's go Bucks, and I am out.
Let's go! You a Buccaneer fan, let me know.